Both, actually. So I'm kind of a VP of growth at LiftOff. One of my key responsibilities is finding other technology that meshes well or can be plugged into the system of how our positioning agency works. So I test a lot of different tools within my own real estate business, kind of as a test rat. And then I also then take it and I say, how could we implement this within our marketing suggestions for our own customers? So had talked to Kenny, had talked to a couple other agents that were using the product, met up with Mark, and I was like, hey, I'm going to try this out, sign me up. And I just went deep with it. Like I'll explain really how I use it to the fullest ability. I use it for agent attraction, for recruiting, for EXP. I'm not a Kenny Fast when it comes to recruiting. My goal is not to have a massive downline and massive tool, but I needed something that could streamline answering questions, sharing videos, showing the process, and being able to text that or share it super quickly to somebody who wants to come to EXP or is interested in learning more. And so that was the first HighNote I set up. Then the second HighNote I set up was a relocation guide for Eugene, Oregon, because I kept getting a lot of buyers out of state that were coming here or calling me and saying, hey, I'm not too familiar with the area. I don't know what's going on here. And I built this very, very comprehensive relocation guide that as soon as I talk to them on the phone, I get their email, I shoot it over to them. And it's like 2 or 3 minutes later, it's like I get a notification from HighNote, so-and-so is viewing the relocation guide. And I've seen a higher conversion rate on a buyer lead nurture funnel that typically would take way longer to build that credibility because I'm just leading with value information. The third thing I built was my home buyer resources guide. So we had a lot of first-time home buyers or people who hadn't bought in years that were kind of just like little rusty on the process. And so I built out a very robust home buying process with articles, my preferred lenders, things to think about, problems that come up, the escrow process. And HighNote was just pivotal in helping give me some of the resources that I could rebrand. And it's like just a very well-oiled machine now. When a first-time home buyer comes in or anybody who's going to buy, I get their information. We have a good listening appointment. I get what they're trying to accomplish, where they're trying to buy, what their budget is. And then I drop that HighNote. And every single one of them is like, oh my gosh, I really appreciate that. It's just, I don't have to go Google search a million different directions for the information. And 2 more use cases I think that would really help people with HighNote is I use it on attracting seller leads to me when they fill out a what's your home worth valuation request. So I drop it both on postcard form with a QR code that will get a lead capture. Once that lead comes in, then I turn around and I drop a HighNote, and it has like a picture of their house. It has what Zillow thinks their home's worth, what Trulia thinks their home's worth, what the RPR thinks their home's worth, and then a video of me of what I think their home is worth. And the components to think about with that type of asset class, that location. It's got my LiftOff agent, marketing, how we list homes, our process. And really what it does is it allows a seller lead that potentially might just be a looky-loo or nosy neighbor. And they're like, holy smokes, like this team is really dialed. They spent a lot of time putting in the effort to drop this website for my house directly to me. And when they don't open it via email or it gets captured in maybe a spam folder or something, I'll wait a few days, drop it in text. Now they can open it up on their phone. So the accessibility from multiple different directions really helps. And then some of your more standard applications, I just won a deal over all cash by presenting the offer in the best light possible. And I think HighNote was just 110% part of that process, because when I sent the offer over, he was like, holy smokes, I've never seen this tool, the listing agent. And he was like, you had it really cleaned up. You had what the review of the offer was. It was like a picture of the property, proof of funds, the offer, disclosures, or the agency buyer disclosure. And he was like, that was really cool. And, I sent that over to the seller, and they were really impressed. And then my own client called me and was like, hey, I've never seen this tool you're using. I can see the difference between what you're doing and other agents we've worked with. It was another investor who had bought and sold with several different real estate agents over the last 20 to 30 years. And he's like, I really appreciate you putting our best foot forward and presenting that offer the best way possible. So